Hello and welcome to part 2 of my review of the new Peugeot e-308. This is the 300-mile challenge day where I'll be driving the e-308 from Torquay to Portsmouth and back again, which is pretty much a 300-mile round trip. Now this e-308, as I mentioned on the previous video, has a WLTP range of 257 miles. I currently have the car in eco mode and the battery is on 99%. And it actually is showing a predicted range at the moment of 275 miles. Now whether that is accurate or not, we'll find out. Oh, blimey, those pigeons have got a death wish. I just sat there looking at me approaching them. But anyway, 275 miles of range. Hopefully I won't have any more suicidal pigeons. It is early in the morning on April the 21st, and it is a beautiful morning. Completely clear skies. I think it's going to be a fantastic day weather-wise, but because it is clear, it's only 5 degrees at the moment, so that might put a bit of a dent into the efficiency of the battery. But as I mentioned on the previous video, this has the new generation of Stellantis battery, so it is supposed to be up to 12% more efficient than the previous batteries in the pre-facelift E2008 and E208. So it'll be interesting to see just how efficient this E308 really is. So I'm going to sit back and enjoy the drive. Looks like it's going to be a fantastic day, and I'll update you along the route. See you in a bit. Okay, so I have now covered 19 miles, just approaching the outskirts of Exeter. So far I have averaged 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour. Battery is on 92% and I'm showing a range of 258 miles, and I have 129 miles to the destination at Highbury College in Portsmouth. So those of you who have watched these 300-mile challenges of mine before will know that the first 19 miles of the journey are the most efficient because it's lower speed, bit of twisty B road. So from here on in, the route becomes higher speed and slightly less efficient. But so far so good. And it is an absolutely glorious morning. I've had the pleasure of watching a beautiful sunrise. I mean, we haven't seen the sun for about 6 months, so it's about time. And as I mentioned earlier, suicidal pigeons. Shortly after I cut off the video, I had another suicidal pigeon that nearly clipped the front of the car. Just about got away with that one. But it's almost like birds aren't expecting cars on the road at this time in the morning. But anyway, haven't killed anything yet, so that's good. Right, so I'm just about to start the 14-mile stretch of dual carriageway on the A30, and we'll catch up once I come off the A30 just to see what dent that has put in to my efficiency. So I've just dropped back slightly now to 5.1 miles per kilowatt hour. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I've just come off the A30, and as expected, the 70-mile-an-hour stretch has put a dent in my efficiency. So I've just come off at Honiton. I now have averaged 3.9 miles per kilowatt hour. So yeah, the efficiency has dropped back from the 5.1 where I was at Exeter. I've covered 37 miles and I have 109 miles to go to the halfway point at Highbury. And when the sat-nav prompt disappears, I might actually be able to tell you what the percentage of the battery is on. It's the only thing with the sat-nav that comes up on the screen. It's very nice, but it blocks my battery percentage. But going well so far. It is rather cold still. It's only 5 degrees, even though the sun has come up. It's still quite low in the sky, but it's only 5 degrees. So that might be having a bit of an impact on the battery efficiency at the moment. But as the day goes on, with clear skies and bright sunshine, hopefully the temperature will come up and the battery will start working a little bit more efficiently. But so far so good. I was hoping to come off the A30 at 4 or just over 4 miles per kilowatt hour, but I'm at 3.9 as I came off. So not too bad. I was hoping for a little bit better, but the temperature might have put a bit of a dent into that one. There we go. It's cleared. I've got 80% left in the battery. So 80%, so I've used 20% over 38 miles. Right, I'll catch up with you in a bit and see if it's all still going smoothly. See you soon. Okay, I'm at the halfway point to Highbury. I have covered 73 miles and 74 miles left to go. Currently averaging 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour, so the efficiency has come up a little bit along this section. I have 64% state of charge in the battery, although the range is still saying that I've got 154 miles left. So the range is actually dropping quicker than I'm driving forward, because I thought that 275 miles of range that it was displaying on the left this morning was rather ambitious. So the range does seem to be catching up with the efficiency that I'm achieving. But yeah, the drive so far has been okay. There's been some slower vehicles on the road. I'm just coming up to a tractor now. So I'm on a 60 mile an hour limit road, and now I'm just dropping to 30 miles an hour. Oh joy. So yeah, it has been a little bit slower progress than I would have liked. Quite a few slower moving vehicles. That Fiat in front of me is desperate to overtake this tractor. He's just tried to make an overtake and had to dive back in behind the tractor again. It ain't worth risking it, mate. Don't risk it. Just sit here. The road widens to a dual carriageway in a minute. But anyway, temperature's come up slightly. Got a bit of cloud cover now. It's 8 degrees. The efficiency has just gone up to 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. Probably because I had to slow right down behind this tractor. But I will catch up with you probably as I'm approaching the M27, because that will be where my decision time will come in, whether I'm going to stop to charge on the M27 or whether I'll just push on to Highbury and charge on the way back. Road closed. Well, that's fun then, isn't it? So a slight detour, different route. What's this going to do to my range? No idea where I'm going now. The road I wanted is closed. Oh well, I'll see you in a minute, and I'll update you. I might end up somewhere in the UK. You never know. I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I know I haven't reached the M27 yet, which is when I said I'd catch up with you, but just thought I'd give you an update on the road closure that I encountered. I had to find my way through Dorchester, a town I've never actually driven through before. The diversion signs were next to useless, and all the sat-nav wanted to do was bring me back to where the road was closed. So I managed to find my way through and get back onto the correct road again, but it cost me 15 minutes and added about 3 miles onto the journey after trying to figure out how to get through Dorchester to get to the other side. But another little funny thing, the sat-nav in the e-308, it actually picks up street names that are off the road that I'm currently driving on. And I kid you not, I have just driven past a place called Shitterton, and there is a lane called Butt Lane. Can you imagine telling people, I live on Butt Lane in Shitterton? Oh, what a place. I apologise to anyone who lives on Butt Lane in Shitterton watching this, but that did make me laugh. Anyway, I'll catch up on the M27. See you in a bit. Okay, so I'm not far off the M27 now. I have got 49% left in the battery and a range displaying of 109 miles. So when the battery hit 50%, I'd done 104 miles, I've now done 109. So, set off this morning and it was showing 275 miles of predicted range, which I knew was ambitious. I knew it was never going to achieve that. But to hit 50% and have covered 104 miles, those of you who are good at maths will know 104 times 2 is 208. That is some way off 275 miles. Now, if that 275 miles had been reasonably accurate, I could have got to Highbury College, turned around, come back this way towards Wimborne, charged at Wimborne, and then straight back to Torquay on one charge, job done. But with the range that looks like I'm actually achieving, I think I'm going to stop at the M27 services to charge and put a decent charge in the car, and then do a quick splash and dash at Wimborne on the way back through. So pretty much the same as what I did in the e-308. As I mentioned earlier, this car does have a 54 kilowatt hour battery, although the usable capacity is just under 51 kilowatt hours. And the e-308 that I did this journey in has a battery of 50 kilowatt hours but a usable capacity of 46 kilowatt hours. E-308 slightly lighter than this car, so efficiency or range will probably work out roughly the same. So I'm not overly surprised that this car is doing around about the same as the e-308. Kind of what I expected, but it's just a little bit annoying when you put a charge into a car and it says, yeah, 275 miles, no problem at all. And people with less experience of EVs who aren't as skeptical, I can't even say the word, aren't as doubting as me, will probably take that as read and say, yeah, 275 miles, yeah, easy peasy. But yeah, you have to factor in these elements of doubt and realism. But anyway, I'm nearly at the M27. I really need a wee anyway, so I'll probably stop at the M27. It'll give me a chance to test out the new chargers that have just opened up at the services. Because if you've watched my e-308 video, you'll know that when I was at the services, there was one charger, and as I was unplugging, there was nearly a punch-up with people fighting over the charger as I was leaving. But now there are 6 new ones, so hopefully when I get to the services, the chargers will be free, or at least one of them will be free, and it'll be happy days. Now the journey out so far, although the weather is absolutely lovely, the traffic is a lot heavier than I was expecting for this time on a Sunday morning, and the amount of tractors on the road, I've never seen so many tractors. I mean, we have had rain pretty much consistently for 6 months, and we've now had about 4 or 5 dry days in a row, so it's like every farmer in the country is making hay while the sun shines. Hey, see what I did there? So yeah, I've been stuck behind tractors and all sorts, and heavy traffic. But it's probably the first Sunday for months where the sun's been out, so everyone's probably making the most of it. But anyway, we'll catch up at the services and we'll test out these new chargers. I'll put a really good charge into the car at these services so I can then get to Highbury, come back, easily make it to Wimborne with a nice buffer, decent charge there, straight back to Torquay. So I'll see you in a bit. Alright then, I'm just coming off the M27 into the services. Let's see if we can try out these chargers. Hopefully they're free, available. I have averaged 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. Covered 128 miles. 37% left in the battery. I'm showing a range remaining of 74 miles as I hit the services. That surface isn't very good, is it? Oh, look at those! A whole bank of brand new chargers. This van will hurry up and just get a move on. Might actually be able to get to them. There's a Volkswagen ID.3 plugged in. And that is it. So 5 of the chargers are available. Nice, crisp, new looking InstaVolt chargers. Let's have a go. So at the services before, if that ID.3 was plugged into the one charger, I'd be in for a bit of a wait. Right, here we go. Let's do our live. How long does it take to get some charge going into the car? Let's hope it all works. Here we go. Right, how do these work? CCS, that's the one I want. So I end up picking up the CHAdeMO. Right, here we go. Plugged in. Present your card. Charger authorization successful. Your charging session will now begin. In your own time. Come on. And there we go. Charging using 100% net zero energy, whatever that means. And it is charging at a rate of 69 kilowatt. It's a lot better than the old charger that they had here before. Oh, and there we go, we're charging. I wasted about 5 seconds by picking up the channel mode charger plug instead of the CCS one. Duh. But anyway, so we've just gone back up to 39%, and we are charging at 287 miles per hour. So when I got in the car, the charger was pumping out 69 kilowatts. As I'm at the services, it would be rude not to pop in and have a quick breakfast, wouldn't it, from McDonald's? Yeah, I think I will. Right, so I'll refresh myself, put a good charge into the car. I think I'll go to at least 80%, see where that takes me, then we'll crack on to Highbury and then make it to Wimborne on the way back. So I'll see you when I am at Highbury, probably. See you in a bit. Right then, I'm here, Highbury College, the halfway point on the round trip. I made it. So situation, let's go through the stats. So I've done 150 miles exactly, which is about 3-4 miles more than it normally would be because of the diversion that I had and getting lost in Dorchester earlier in the day. So 150 miles, I've averaged 4.1 miles per kilowatt hour. I currently have 72% in the battery, and I'm showing a range of 178 miles. And I've got about 146 miles left to get home from here. But what was quite interesting, when I was stopped at the M27, if I was doing this journey in a combustion car, so say the petrol version of the 308, range-wise, that car could easily do Torquay to Portsmouth and back again on a tank of fuel. Probably less than a tank of fuel, without having to stop. But by the time I arrived at the M27 services, my bladder was about to explode anyway, and I was hungry. So even if I was in a petrol car, I would have stopped then anyway. And in the time that it took me to go into the services, go to the toilet, order my food, wait for my food, eat my food, by the time I was taking the last bite of my McMuffin, the car had hit about 77% state of charge. And then after I'd finished eating, put my rubbish in the bin and came back to the car to switch the charger off, it was up to 81%. So in the time that it took me to go for a wee, have something to eat, the car was charged to exactly where I wanted it to be. So it didn't actually add any time to my journey, because if I was doing this in a petrol diesel car, I would have made that stop, I would have gone for a wee, had something to eat, and left in pretty much exactly the same amount of time. Now, I know it's something that a lot of electric car skeptics say, that I don't want to be waiting around waiting for the car to charge, but a lot of these modern electric cars have a range that's better than my bladder. So I don't think it's actually going to be much of an issue. But there we go. So I will do the return journey and we will see how we get on the way back. So I'll see you in a bit. Okay then, I have covered nearly 50 miles since I last spoke to you. My efficiency has improved slightly. I'm up to 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. But as I thought, I'm approaching Wimborne and I'm going to charge at the Instavolt chargers at Wimborne. because I am showing 98 miles to get home and a range of 110 miles. So that is cutting it very fine. And we all know I'm probably not going to have 110 miles of range left in the battery. The battery is currently showing 51%. But considering what the traffic was like going out towards Highbury this morning, it was a lot heavier than normal for a Sunday morning. The 50 miles coming out of Portsmouth on my way home has actually been quite smooth, flowing quite nicely. So I shouldn't be too far off the InstaVolt charger now. So I'll start recording again as I'm pulling up to that charger, because again we'll do another live charge stop, see if the chargers are available and how long it takes to get a charge going into the car. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Right, just coming into the chargers at Wimborne. Let's see if they're available. Where are they? That was a little bit early. Here we go. Is there anything plugged into the charger? No, they're both available. Look at that. Looks like it'll be another successful charge stop. So let's reverse up and plug in. Here we go. There's a nice bollard next to this one. Let's not park too close to that. Don't want to whack the door. Right, here we go. Live charge stop number 2 of the day. Come on, if I can get my card out. Here we go. Let's see if I can actually pick up the right charger this time. Plug it in. Waiting to EV to connect. This is a 125 kilowatt charger. Still waiting for EV. And there we go. Excellent, didn't take too long at all, as I nearly fall over the curb. Right. Oh, well, it said it was charging, but it's currently charged. Ah, there we go. It's started to read on the display now. Now this charger is rated at 125 kilowatt. The e-308 charges at 100 kilowatts at peak. Battery is currently 50%, range 108 miles. Charging is ramping up, and we are now charging at 260 miles per hour. So that's probably around about 65 kilowatts it's drawing at the moment. And there we go. So this is a charge stop that if I was in a combustion engine car I wouldn't have to make, because I don't need a wee at the moment. So this is a time added on for a charge. But I don't want to cut it fine. I'm just going to do a little charge here. It's not going to take long for the car to get from 50% to 80%. And then I can hit the road, go all the way back to Torquay with a nice healthy buffer. So I won't be panicking with range. I've still got to negotiate the road closure on the way back at Dorchester. So I'm bound to get lost in Dorchester. So I need a bit of a buffer for that. Hopefully the diversion signs going the other way are better than they were coming this way. But all good so far. And I will see you shortly. All right then. Well, since I left the charger at Wimborne, I sat on the charger until the car hit 80%, which gave me a range of 208 miles. And I had about 96 miles to get home at that point. So a nice big buffer to get back to Torquay with no range anxieties whatsoever. Unfortunately, the road closure that's on the A35 at Dorchester has delayed me by about half an hour to 40 minutes, because everything has been diverted through Dorchester itself. So it's just a crawl, stop start crawl all the way through Dorchester to get to the other side of the closure, which wasn't ideal. So I've lost a lot of time there. But on the plus side, for the first time ever, I've actually driven through Dorchester, and a very pleasant looking town it is too. So, situation at the moment, now that I'm back on the open road and I haven't got anything in front of me or behind me. Well, hey, I have covered 224 miles, still averaging 4.2 miles per kilowatt hour. The battery state of charge is 69%, and I am showing a range of 166 miles now, with 70 miles left to go. So I'm predicted to get home in about an hour and a half. So it's been a little bit of a longer day than I would have liked, with that road closure on the way out and then getting stuck in it again on the way home, but never mind. The car, the e-308, is actually a really nice place to be, so nice and comfortable. This seat is fantastic, so yeah, it's not too much of a problem. I'll catch up with you a little bit later on. See you soon. Right, you join me just as I am going past Exeter. So I have now covered 276 miles and I've only got 17 miles left to get home, so nearly there. Efficiency's improved, I'm up to 4.3 miles per kilowatt hour, and I'm showing 49% left in the battery and 105 miles range. Now the efficiency is improved on the way back because a couple of things, I think. The temperature has increased, it's now 15 degrees, and the traffic has been quite a bit slower on the return, especially that crawl past Dorchester. So that's all helped to improve my efficiency, the slower moving traffic, although I would have preferred to have gotten home a little bit quicker than I have. But we're nearly there now. So in 17 miles, I'll catch up with you for the final debrief to see exactly what our efficiency was and predicted range and how the e-308 did. See you in a bit. Right, so there we have it, back in Torquay, 295 miles later. Oh, it's been a bit of a long day, this one. 8 hours in the car. I lost an hour negotiating Dorchester because of the closure on the A35, which really didn't need. But 8 hours in the e-308, no aches and pains. This seat is absolutely lovely. For my body shape and size, it's holding me in place really nicely. Nice place to be. And as I mentioned earlier on the little review, I can see over the top of the steering wheel, and that means the steering wheel is a nice position for my shoulders and my arms, so no aches or pains there. So yeah, really good drive. The car is incredibly comfortable, very, very quiet. Yeah, a good drive apart from the delays. So final efficiency figures. The efficiency went up in the end to 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour. And the 17 or 20 odd miles from Exeter to Torquay on the route that I take is the most efficient part of the journey. So that's why the efficiency increased a little bit. So if we take the usable capacity of the battery of 51 kilowatt hours, multiply that by 4.4 miles per kilowatt hour, that gives us a real world range of, if my mental arithmetic is right, about 224 miles. God, you're impressed that I worked that out quickly, weren't you? I didn't ask Siri at all before I started recording, honest. But yeah, 224 miles in the real world for a car with a 50-ish kilowatt hour battery. That's not too bad, actually. I knew in my heart of hearts that when I switched the car on this morning, put it into eco mode, and it was showing 275 miles of range, I knew I was going to have to do 2 charge stops, really. Certainly wasn't expecting that to be completely accurate in the real world. But the WLTP claim range is 257 miles. I achieved efficiency that suggested it would have done 224. It's not too far off in the real world. So can't complain, really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little range test. 300 miles in the e-308. I certainly enjoyed it. Great car. Would certainly recommend it if you're looking for a normal size hatchback electric car. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.